Welcome back everyone. I am Vikas and this is my second video in the series where I'm discussing about the first problem of Web Technologies Lab. This is where we left off. This is what we did, developed a basic HTML code in the last video, and this is our output of the program. And in this particular program we are expecting to provide a number here, and if I provide a number and click on the button as the instruction goes, when I click on the button, I'm expecting to get a result as 125 as in words here in this particular text field. But when I click on this button, I'm not getting any kind of result. So the point is, this is a basic HTML code, basic HTML page where the code written basically presents how the web page looks. That's it. So if I want this submit button to work and do some functionality behind, then I have to write code which is called JavaScript. And generally we write code, the JavaScript code, as part of the head tag. So after my title tag, I'm providing a script tag under which we are going to write JavaScript code. Okay, so this is where I will be writing JavaScript code, and under this JavaScript code I'm going to write a function which I need to be called whenever I click on the submit button. So I'm going to call this particular function as number to word function, and under this function I want to do some action. Let us say, first of all, I want to capture the first text field's value. So I need a variable, and let's say I want to store this variable in a variable called number, and here after equal I'm going to write some code which is going to capture the value of the first text field. But the problem here is I don't know how to access this particular text field. There is only one way to access this text field, and by that is when I have a name for this particular text field. When you try to observe these two text fields, both are input tags, and both have the type text. The only difference is the second one is bigger than the first one. So what is the difference? How to access any of them? There is an attribute available in input tag called name, and under this attribute I can give a name to this particular text field. Let us say I will call this text field as number field, and I will give another name to the second text field, and I will give the attribute name and give the value as result text field or result field. Okay, now I can access this particular value of this particular text field by accessing this name, and if I want to assign some value to this particular text field, I will be using this name. So here in the function I have to write something like form dot number field dot value. So when I say form dot number field dot value, I'm trying to access the form tag which is available in the HTML page, and under the form tag I want to access this particular field with the name number field, and in that number field text field I want to access its value. So this dot operator works very much like regular Java dot operator. But to make it work, first of all I need to access the form, and for which I have to pass the parameter form to this particular function number to word. But still, this number to word function is just a function. That means it is a function definition, and as you know, all the functions need to be called. Unless otherwise a function is called, it is of no much use. So where do we call it? We can call it as another attribute of this input tag, where type is equal to button, which is a little bit different from these two input tags. These two input tags are text type, that means they are text fields, and this type is button, which means it is a button. So for this particular input tag I'm going to write an attribute called onClick, and this particular onClick attribute basically the value of this particular onClick attribute needs to be the function which needs to be called whenever I click on this particular button. My function is called number to word, and so I'm just copying this part and pasting it here so that I don't make any typing mistakes. And to pass the form of this particular page, I have to write this dot form. So when I write this number to word, this dot form, that means whenever I click on this particular button called submit, then this particular function will be called along with a parameter called form. So whenever this function is called, I'm having the accessibility of the form tag. On that form, as we discussed earlier, I'm calling the number field text field, and I'm trying to access the value of the number field. Once I write this, it captures dynamically the value whatever is there in the text field, and once that value is captured, that value gets stored in this variable called number. So just to know what value is captured, I'm writing an alert window. It is a very easy way to check whether what kind of value currently that variable is containing. So I'm writing it as number is equal to, plus operator is used to concatenate. So here I'm writing number. Okay, so this is the code. Let us execute it and check whether it works. Let's go back to the program. Let's run it again. Okay, so here I'm supplying a value, let us say 147, and I'm clicking on the submit button. Yes, beautiful. Now this is an alert window, as you see, and the value captured is 147. That is what we needed to test here. So let's get back to the program again. Here I'm trying to do something else now. Now that the value is captured from the text field, I'm going to check what type of the value that is. We know that all the text fields generally contain strings, but I have entered a value in our previous example as 147 in our case. So is 147 a number or a string? To know that, we have an option. There is an operator available in JavaScript which is called type of operator. This is how it looks. This is the type of operator. And suppose I write type of double quotes. Then it gives me what type that double quotes means. That means whatever value I'm supplying here, it will show me what type it is. So I'm going to write another alert window just to know what this is. Okay, here as you can see, I have supplied this alert type of double quotes. Okay, so when I execute this particular program, there will be two alert windows. The first alert window will show the value captured, and the second alert window will show you what type is for this particular value. Okay, let's save it, go back to the execution window, execute it again, supply a value 147, let us say the same value, submit button. The first alert window is basically the same thing. It is showing number is equal to 147, the captured value. And then when I click OK, it is giving me another alert window which shows that it is a string value. So basically it says that the type of this particular double quotes is a string. Okay, so now I'm going to change it a little bit by supplying the variable number. Now in JavaScript we have only one data type called var, which declares that this particular name is a variable, but JavaScript maintains the type of value based on whatever value that particular name stores. So this particular name stores whatever value that is captured from this number field, and we don't know currently what type it is. So I am supplying this number variable here to know the type of that particular variable. Okay, save it again, go back to the execution, execute it again, supply the value. I'm giving the same value again, submit, and then you see the first alert window is pretty much the same thing. Number is equal to 147. It is giving the value. The second alert window is the most important part. It says it is the string, and I am trying to print type of number variable. Okay, and as you can see, the result is string. So basically, whatever value I am typing here is considered as 147. Oh, sorry, even if I give a number, it is also considered as a string. So why do we need to understand what this particular variable is storing, what type of value this particular variable is storing? This is what we are going to see in our next video. Thank you.